Greetings and salutations, all. I.S. Anderson here once again with another video about the Game of Thrones series. You know, Game of Thrones is known for its characters mostly. They're very in-depth, very two-dimensional, and very complicated. You know, they're not completely good or completely bad. However, there are some characters that do tend to lean either way. You know, there's characters like Ned Stark, Robb Stark, pretty much most of the Starks who are basically very good and eventually leads to their downfall. And then you get the people that are quite despicable, the ones that we really love to hate, or at least should in my opinion. So today I decided to comprise this list of the characters that I find the most despicable and also the ones that are most dangerous in the series and the ones that need to die in most painful ways. So let's go ahead and get started with number 10.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
So we begin with the mother of madness herself, Cersei Lannister. Cersei is a character who's very easy to hate from the beginning. I mean, you can just tell the way she walks around so smug, and she's the queen. She knows that she just turns her nose down at everybody. Plus, she's extremely mean to Sansa, more mean than she needs to be, and she's constantly whining about, you know, oh, if I was born a man, things would be so much different. You know, personally, I think if she was born a man, she would have been dead a long time ago. But, I mean, the reason why I placed Cersei at number 10 rather than higher on the list is because, you know, for all her grousing and grumbling, she really is harmless. I mean, she's not even half as clever as she thinks she is. She comes up with these plots, and I'm not going to give too much away, but basically she's one of those people who you give her enough rope, she'll hang herself, so you don't really need to worry about her. So that's why I placed her at number 10, where a lot of people might think she should be higher, but personally I think she comes in fine at number 10. And let's go on to number 9.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
Theon Greyjoy is one of those characters that does bad things, but then manages to gain sympathy for himself later on, either by some trial or some suffering that he goes through, or for some pact to redeem himself. And this guy, he has the whoopee factor. I mean, people are feeling sorry for him because basically he got castrated. I mean, when he was getting flayed and, you know, getting his finger taken off, nobody seemed to worry too much about then, but all of a sudden he gets castrated, and now everybody's feeling sorry for him. And which I can understand, but the thing you got to realize is, I mean, his path to redemption, it's not one that he decided to take himself. He was forced into it, and if he had escaped Winterfell, and, you know, he probably wouldn't be redeeming himself right now. I mean, if he managed to get to the wall, he'd probably still be doing stupid stuff and bad things. And the reason why I put him, you know, so low on this list is because that despite everything he's done, I mean, there's no real harm he can do, and I don't really think I don't think he's going to have too much of a role in the rest of the story until it's over. But he is you know, burning down Winterfell when he really didn't need to, that was just bad. So that's why he makes this list. And on to number 8.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
As Tyrion said, Walder Frey is many things, but a brave man he is not. Walder Frey is one of those guys that likes to kick somebody when they're already down and bleeding and say, yeah, I beat him up. He's one of those guys. He sends his army in late to battles, you know, so he can take credit for the victory. And although he is the figurehead of the Red Wedding, he was the one, you know, who got, you know, a front row seat to all the carnage. And he got to bask in the glory of, you know, seeing all his enemies die. And, you know, of course, if Robb Stark had married his daughter in the first place, there's still a good chance that wouldn't have happened. But the thing is, Walder Frey, I mean, he is despicable. He has killed somebody under his own roof, which is apparently a offense that's the gods themselves can't forgive. And the reason why he's still pretty low, though, is because there's no way he could have pulled this off by himself. So we'll get into those people in a minute, but let us continue for now.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
In the second episode of Season 4, they had a scene with Ramsay out hunting with Theon, now Reek, and a brunette woman, and they were hunting down a blonde woman. If you were paying attention, you'll notice that those two women the hunter and the prey, were both the two women that were used to arouse Theon right before they castrated him. And I guess the reasoning behind this scene was to show, how bad Ramsay Snow really was, and sort of set him up as the new character that we're supposed to hate, other than Joffrey. He'll never be as bad as Joffrey. I mean, he does have a lot of despicable qualities about him. I mean, he is a coward. He does enjoy torturing people and causing them pain, and he is a liar, and a whole slew of other stuff. But the thing you got to realize is, I mean, he is a Bolton. He's only doing this stuff because this is what he knows. The Boltons, they've been torturing people. It's been their way. I mean, their sigil is a guy hung upside down on a cross, a flayed man. So, I mean, that's what Ramsay knows. And, Ramsay Snow, they were saying that he was sort of the bad. He's basically Jon Snow if Jon Snow had been raised badly, and I disagree with that. The only thing that Ramsay has in common with Jon Snow is that they're both bastards from the north, and therefore they shared the same last name. Ramsay, he's doing all this really just ultimately to gain the approval of his father. So in that respect, he has actually a lot more in common with Theon rather than Jon Snow. Jon Snow is trying to become his own man and doing his own thing, and now he's faced with the burden of facing the evil that most people won't even acknowledge. But anyway, Ramsay Snow, I mean, yes, he is despicable, yes, he is, but the thing is, this is all he's ever known. This is all he's been taught. And he takes a little bit too much pleasure in it for most people's liking, and that's why he is on this list, but in the end, he's just a dog doing what he's been told, and goes out of his way to do it, and doesn't know when to stop eating. So yeah, he is pretty bad, but we'll start getting into the people who are really bad in just a moment here.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
Yeah, Tywin Lannister. Talk about a real tyrant there. I mean, this guy, serious piece of work here. I mean, he's mean to his son. I mean, he's absolutely despicable when it comes to his treatment of Tyrion. He is responsible for so many people's deaths. I mean, he's entirely responsible for basically 2 noble families disappearing off the face of the earth. The Castameres and pretty much the Starks. I mean, yeah, they're still Starks here and there, but for the most part, they're pretty much gone, at least as far as this point in the story goes. And yeah, Tywin, I mean, basically, though, he is doing this because he feels this is the only way, his family can survive. And a lot of people are, of course, his family is the most powerful family out there, and he realizes that people are going to have him in their crosshairs, and he thinks this is the only way to do it. Not realizing that, the more he does this, the more people are going to come after him and want him dead. So ultimately, this is going to lead to the whole Lannister's downfall. I mean, because you can be a bully as much as you want, but sooner or later somebody is going to come along and knock you off the hill. It hasn't happened to him yet, and a lot of people tried to and failed miserably. So yeah, so he is definitely a powerful man, definitely to be feared, and definitely dangerous, and definitely not a very likable guy.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
So at the midway point, we have a false prophet. The scary thing about Melisandre is that all the bad things she does, I mean, the blood magic, the, sacrificing people in the name of her God and just burning people alive at the stake, I mean, she actually believes that she is doing all this for the greater good. And, I don't know if she truly believes that in her heart or if she's just, putting on a, very intelligent front, but... I mean, she is very good at manipulating people, and, it does prove that Stannis is, even though technically he is the rightful king, technically it really is, the Iron Throne really is his by right. I mean, he is definitely not suited to sit up top of there if he's going to allow someone like Melisandre to manipulate him. But she is a pretty good manipulator, and, she's one of those people that can whisper into your ear and just make you do crazy things, and she's sort of this, collective madness. that's infected a lot of people, and she only needed to infect one person to really cause problem. And the really scary thing about her is that Westeros actually might need her in the future. I mean, she might actually be needed against the White Walkers because her god and the White Walkers' gods are mortal enemies in the antithesis of each other, and she might actually prove to be vital in the war against them. Then again, hopefully she'll get killed off really quick.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm.
This one might come as a surprise to some people, as in being number 4 up so high. But you got to realize, I mean, Roose Bolton, he was probably a big part of the Red Wedding. I don't think Tywin's the mastermind behind it. He's the one who cooked it up in his brain, but Roose Bolton is the one who pretty much carried it out for the most part. And you got to think, he was carrying it out. He had the plans in motion back when he was holding Jaime Lannister. And Jaime Lannister told Roose Bolton, give the Starks my regards for a reason. And Roose Bolton, I mean, the reason why I placed him up so high is because he knows what he's doing is wrong. I mean, not just the Red Wedding. I mean, he knows that Ramsay is mostly because of him. And Roose Bolton, he knows, he shouldn't let Ramsay do what he's doing, but he does it anyway. I mean, granted, that's the family history. But Roose Bolton knows that, setting the Starks up like that was wrong. He knows, the Red Wedding is wrong. He knows what Ramsay done is wrong. I mean, he knows all of these things are wrong. And on the show, the actor's good because you can sort of tell, remember when he's looking out over the fire and devastation, in episode 10, the Freys killing the Stark army. I mean, he's not looking at it going, I mean, he's looking at it going, wow, I'm an asshole. And he knows he's an asshole, but he does all this stuff just because, I guess he wants to be, Warden of the North and have all this power for himself. And because, Robb Stark didn't, listen to what I was saying. And, Roose, I mean, there's had to have been another way. But no, he didn't find another way. He decided to take the power grab. So that's why I think he's quite as despicable as he is.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm.
Gregor Clegane, a.k.a. the Mountain. Yeah, what can I say about this guy? He kills indiscriminately, rapes women, splatters babies against the wall, kills young children, rapes their mother right in front of them. I mean, that's pretty despicable. And he's also feared and one of the most dangerous guys in the whole realms. I mean, he enjoys killing. It's just in his nature. It's something that he's done since a very young age. Put his own brother's face in the fire just for playing with one of his toys. Yeah, pretty bad guy. And you could make the argument that, a lot of the stuff he just does under the instruction of Tywin Lannister. But the thing is, there's a reason why Tywin has Sir Gregor do the things he does, killing the babies and whatnot. Is because he knows he's a savage animal and will do these things without question. I mean, Tywin would never tell Jaime to do anything that Sir Gregor has done. And I don't think Tywin would tell, even other of his bloodthirsty soldiers to do what he did. And, I'm kind of surprised that Joffrey didn't, when in season 2 when Joffrey, had, the Gold Cloaks go out and kill all of Robert's bastards, I'm kind of surprised he didn't have Sir Gregor do it, because Gregor would have done it without hesitation. He'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever, splat. While the Gold Cloaks, they hesitated, they didn't want to kill the bastards, as it was. So yeah, Gregor Clegane, yeah, he does what he does under orders, but the thing is, he would gladly do it just because. And not only is he a true asshole, but if strong people wanted to stand up to him, most of the people couldn't stop him. So yeah, so he's not only scary and evil, but he's very dangerous, which is why he's so high here.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm.
Yeah, weren't expecting him so soon, were you? Yeah, Joffrey Baratheon, he is easily the most despicable, hateable. I mean, he's the person who's the easiest to hate. I mean, he's just a bad seed, from day one. When he was a little child, I mean, he actually cut open a pregnant cat and showed the kitten fetus to his father and said, "Hey, look, Dad, what I got." And yeah, so he was pretty much bad from day one. I mean, Tyrion said he would be every bit as bad as the Mad King was. And he didn't get his power through any power of his own. Once he's in the slightest hint of danger and he flees like a little bitch. So he's a bully, he's a coward, he's evil-spirited, mean-tempered, he has no grace about him. He'd much rather torment his uncle and Sansa rather than spend time with Marjorie. Shit. Even the most cruelest guy I know would rather hang out with Marjorie looking like that than, pick on, a midget and his wife. And yeah, there's really nothing. Everybody was just so glad when he died, which I can understand. And the reason why he's so dangerous is because he's king. But you think if he wasn't king, even if he was a lord or some other highborn and not the king, do you think he'd be half as dangerous as he was, or do you think he would just be swept aside? Yeah, he was swept aside as the king. So as bad as Joffrey is and hateable, and he is still dangerous, the only reason why he's dangerous is because he has this power that was given to him. So you're probably thinking, well, who could possibly be worse than Joffrey Baratheon? Joffrey Baratheon, excuse me. Well, let me give you my number one.
And who are you? The proud Lord said that I'm...
The truly dangerous people are never the ones who are as obvious as Joffrey or Cersei. The truly dangerous people are always the ones who walk around with a smile on their face, are well-tempered, well-mannered, and always are manipulating things behind the scenes. Petyr Baelish is a very conniving, manipulative person. For one thing, he is responsible for putting, the Iron Throne into the enormous amount of debt that it's in. The Iron Throne, it owes a lot of money to not only the Lannisters, but to the Iron Bank, which is really going to come back to bite him in the ass eventually. Petyr Baelish, I'm not going to spoil anything, but a lot of the bad stuff that happens, it all starts because of an action that Petyr Baelish takes. Petyr Baelish, he is truly the person who will bring about the downfall of the whole realm, if he can help it, if he can. He says, chaos is a ladder, the climb is all that's important. Varys says, if he could, burn down everything, if you could become king of the ashes, which is a true statement. Petyr Baelish, he doesn't kill himself unless he knows he can get away with it. He usually has somebody else do it. He doesn't mind killing himself. He would be more than happy to watch people die in his presence, but he's smarter than that. He's a lot smarter than Joffrey, which makes him a truly dangerous and despicable character. Plus, if you read the books, you know that he's, a little bit questionable when it comes to his sexual preferences, and he does some things that are a bit creepy, which I won't spoil for people who watch the show. But yes, Petyr Baelish, he is definitely the most despicable. He's way worse than Joffrey. He is extremely dangerous. He's unscrupulous. He enjoys what he does. He has no regard for anybody's honor, and he's only out for himself. Even people that he claims to love or care about, he only sees them as a means to an end. Plus, he kind of tells you up front, everybody's a liar, don't trust anybody. And mistrusting me was the smartest thing you've done since you got off your horse. I did warn you not to trust me. And he's honest too, which makes people think that he's an honest person and therefore would never stab you in the back, but he will stab you in the back the first thing. He thinks 10 moves ahead of everybody. So, yeah, he's definitely the most despicable person on there, and he's going to cause a lot more harm and a lot more devastation before this season, before this whole series is finally over, and he finally gets his comeuppance. And I think one of the interesting things about this is the dynamic between him and Varys. It's kind of like Baelish and Varys are the two men, actually playing this Game of Thrones. Varys is he wants to save the realm and protect it, and Baelish basically wants to destroy it so that he can be the king of the ashes. So that is an interesting dynamic. But that was my list. I hope you enjoyed that. And as always, my pertinent contact information is down below. Please comment, rate, subscribe. You know the drill. And until next time, this is I.S. Anderson telling everybody, make your lives grand, and have a good day. Thank you very much.
And so he spoke, and so he spoke, the Lord of Cast.